Two glasses on, two glasses off.
All right. Hello, everybody. I always have glasses. We were just talking about glasses. I have got glasses everywhere. I even found 4 extra pairs of glasses in my drawer. I must have bought an extra set just in case I ran out.
Oh, there we go. Okay. We're going to be the glasses bunch today.
Oh, okay.
I love it.
Back on
Yes.
then. Here we are. Here. Oh my gosh. So welcome everybody to today's live on How She Did It. Super excited to share with you some amazing women wellness entrepreneurs that are making such a huge impact in the world and also being well paid in the process. So I just wanted to, give everybody an opportunity to kind of hear from different types of practitioners as well. I was actually in a Facebook group recently, a different Facebook group, and somebody asked the question, can you really have a 6-figure business doing this work? And I'm like, oh, we just need to show, absolutely, you most certainly can have a 6-figure business. And so I just wanted to bring on different people to share, how they've been able to do it, because each one of you have an incredible business and it all looks completely different, which is awesome, because that means that we get to customize it. And there's multiple ways and business models in which you can create a 6-figure business. So thank you, Vicki and Tracy and Helen, for being here and just kind of being an inspiration and sharing some insights into kind of what you've tried, what's worked, what's exciting for you, and what it is that you do. So I'm just going to open it up and I'm going to call on Helen. Helen's, you're right there, like on that top. Tell us what it is, who you are, and what it is that you do, and a little bit about your business.
Sure. So my name's Helen, and I do what's called help women get off the scale and into their lives through my signature program called the Energetic Eating Method, which is a combination of optimizing thoughts, nutrition, and lifestyle, but really the patterns that we have in our lives that we feel like we can't get out of. So I really help women break that cycle and get them out of thinking that it's about the weight that they need to lose and really about the lives that they need to live. Man,
yes.
all of this.
Oh my gosh. Can we give high fives here? Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you. So it's been an amazing ride. I think that, Chris, what always resonated for me with you and the work that you do is like heart-centered, heart-centered, heart-centered. And that's really what I believed in from the beginning, was just showing up. And a huge part of what my success has been built on was in a local community. So creating groups that could come together for the same mission. And whether it's been running a 5K or when COVID started, I started doing a Zoom strength training class, and all of that in combination with my one-on-one coaching at the time was like, something that really filled me up and made me feel really happy, and was something that was necessary for me and my well-being and my mental health and the way that I wanted to live my life. And I know you teach this, Chris, too, but it's like, what's my story? So I took my story and I started just living my story. And the women that I was seeing one-on-one, I realized had all these components to their lives that were also mine. And most of them had to do with their dissatisfaction with their weight and weight loss. And that's when I decided to build a group program. And I invited all of those one-on-one women with me who happened to also be in my local running group, many of them anyway, not all of them, but many of them. And they said, okay. And they came on for my first rendition, which was in January 2020. And it was sort of an experiment, but this beautiful thing that really took off. And I was able to take the values that I held based on the life that I had lived and the coaching that programming that I had done in order to be able to build this thing. But what really took me into 6 figures after that, because I think people can be like, wow, well, can you still really do that in group coaching? But was in this last year, Chris, and working together and thinking about my value as a person, as a coach, what I'm offering, the time that I'm actually putting in, and being able to say, well, this is what my time is worth, not just what do I think I can charge to get people to come. Like I've been doing this a while and I deserve that. And also how I can have different levels of programming to meet people with what it is that they're looking for. So, hey, Dawn.
How are you?
Good. And so, yeah, for me, I think the heart of mine, where it all started, was really just following my passion and bringing groups of people together that had similar ideas, and then building that into, I'm like, well, if this group really wants this, then I think like a lot of people will want this, and making it scalable online.
Yeah, you've done such a good job with that. And I love how you've created relationships. Like that's always been like a foundational piece of your business, whether it's local or whether it's online, and your community is, loves being a part of it. I'm actually looking at by the way, I am inside of one of her programs. I am in the, what do you call it? The
energetic weight of 5K. Yeah.
Yes. And I'm still having fear of missing out, like seeing all these pictures of being in person. I'm like, I want to live in New Jersey and go on runs on Saturday mornings with you. So I think that part of, which I think is so special, of, having that community piece where people get to be loved on and supported and uplifted and encouraged. And I think people really do want that. That's a huge part that people are craving.
For sure. And it's a huge, I call it the heartbeat of my business. Like without that local flavor, like, example of how we can change our communities, and where I'm going with it is to help women create their own communities with the energetic way to 5K. Like bring a friend, bring your partner, bring your group. Like we can create these groups in this way of being through the affirmation process and finding the intervals that work for you. So that's another sort of idea, like seed that I'm planting in there. But another thing, Chris, that I, doing the retreat with you, which was so amazing. Like I met Vicky on this retreat, and these gals like Dawn and Tracy, like I know through your programming and through other things that we've done. So there's opportunities to come together in person. Like even if you don't have a local running group, like those things are really special and help you like understand yourself even more deeply and with the people that you're with. So thank you for also offering that. Like that's a piece of what helps us come together.
And I love that you're doing that you've got.
And then I started doing it.
Yeah. Awesome.
Like, whatever you say, I do.
Well, it's fun. It's, when we see something, we're like, oh, that would be fun. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and we're like, oh, let me try it. Like we just get to take a look at it. Number one, is it going to be fun? And then we just get to give it a go. And I love in-person retreats. I love connecting with people in person, and, also letting it be really intimate, right? Like we get to have lunches and dinners together and chat and just connect and be real people. And, there's something so that lifts me up and fills me up as a part of that. And so that's a part of my business model that I wanted to continue to have.
Well, it's super cool.
Yeah.
And my first retreat is this weekend. So I'm really excited for that.
Yay!
Yeah.
How many people are coming?
11.
Wow. That's a great group.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Really, I think a huge part, something that I wasn't taught, but I did naturally, was how do you let people continue to be in your world and to be influenced by the community? Because by the end of 12 weeks or 6 months or 1 year or whatever, it's like they don't really want to go. When you have something special like you gals have, or like what I know I've built or what Chris has built, like people don't want to go. Like they either want to level up or they want to hang around. So I always have had something for people to continue to enjoy so that we can be together in some way. And I think that has built, and I know that we don't do membership past a certain point. Like there's a certain threshold that you break through in order to do that. But this idea of being a member or being a part of something has always been a part of my business model, whether it was like a little tiny bit or, bigger now has been amazing. Like it's grown over time, like to over 100. That just sort of happened.
I'm so glad that you talked about that, because that is a big piece that I think people miss. And that is, what is the lifetime? How, your client is going to be in your world longer than your 12 week, 1 year program even, right? Like what is the long-term time period that you can keep your person in your community? Because people do want to be a part of your community. And so giving another place that they can still stay tapped in is important. And I think another thing that people forget is it's not just about inviting people to renew in the same program that they were in, right? Sometimes it's, well, what would be another container that would benefit them? what would be another way that we can help them get whatever it is, that next result that they're looking for? Sometimes it is renewing one-on-one, but sometimes it might be moving in, something else, whether, they start at the couch to 5K and then move into your energetic eating method and then decide that they want to stay in your community. Like there's a way that we want to make sure that we have some of these systems in place in our business that allows our people to stay in our world. So I love that you mentioned that.
One of the biggest things that I broke through this year, and this will just be the last thing, I don't want to take all this airtime, obviously, but is that people really like choice.
Yes.
We really like choice. And I had a moment where I started to take away choice in order to make things easier. And it was easier for me, but like 5 minutes of like back end technology. I just didn't want to do it anymore. And when I took away the choice for the client, like it was like they were really upset. And so what I got to do is to go back and say, I realize how much you guys appreciate choice. We're doing it the old way too. Here's your pick. So I didn't know how much people would rather have choice over ease. I was like, it's just this thing. They actually wanted to choose between all the things. So, variety, I think, is really important to people, particularly now. We want to feel like we have control over things. And when we pigeonhole people into like one thing and one amount that's like always consistently paid, I didn't realize how anxiety inducing it would be. And so choice has been huge. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, like having choices or tiers or offers is important.
Yeah. I love that you said this, not necessarily for the choice. I totally agree with the choice component, but what I want to point out here is how you showed up as an entrepreneur, how you showed up to take a look at, you listen to your people and you're like, you know what, this is what they're asking for. And, you pivoted, right? We innovate, we pivot, we listen, we try something, we get feedback. You tried something and you're like, oh, you know what? They're actually asking for something different. So that's such a beautiful piece of being entrepreneurs, that those decisions, when we make decisions and then get the feedback, then at least we have some information with where we want to go next.
Yeah.
And I love that you did that you listened and you're just like, oh, well, I thought that they were going to want it this way, but they actually don't. They actually want it this way. So no harm, no foul. We just get to go in this direction.
It sounds a lot easier than it was. It was probably the hardest, most painful part of my entire career, where I thought Chris, you always say this, I wanted to burn it down. Yeah. I was scared. I was like, what have I done? And it just wasn't that big of a deal.
Isn't that funny? Our brain is like, we're going to die. Yeah. We're like, actually, no. How about if we just do this?
Yeah. Okay. And it worked. So
yay. So we're going to have each one of our amazing women here share in the comments inside of Facebook, and they can come back around, because I know we're inside of the Zoom room right now, where you can find them. So, if you're resonating with any of their work, or even if you just want to reach out and say, hey, really loved what it is that you said, like, reach out to Helen, to Vicky, to Dawn, to Tracy, and, feel free to join their Facebook group. Feel free to grab whatever freebie they've got going on that they're going to share with us. Ask them any questions. I'm sure that, if you also have any questions about what it is like, working inside of Activate Abundance or one-on-one or inside of Amplify Your Leadership, that would be more than happy to share any details in that too. So thank you so much, Helen.
You're welcome. Yay. Can't wait to hear from you guys.
Yay. Vicky, I am so excited to share you today too.
Because thank you.
Been in my world for a long period of time.
I know.
And you're actually one of our coaches inside of Activate Abundance. So
I do get to do that. I know. It's so fun. I know. It's good. I'm inspired. I get so inspired by you ladies. I love listening. Like Helen can just keep going. So this is good.
I'm like, no, this is great.
I know. Keep going, girl. Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, Chris, I've been working with you, I think, for like 4 years now. I think you're going on 4 years. So a long time. And every time I jump on one of these, I'm always thinking about, for me, how when I first started with you, where I was in my practice. I started out as a massage therapist and then got my coaching certification, because along the way as being a massage therapist, I was starting to see this relationship and connection between the body and the mind that wasn't being addressed inside of the healthcare field. And I just knew there was a way to connect these two pieces. And all of the other coaches that I'd been talking to before were like, well, why can't you just have them separate? And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, they go together. Like, there's something that goes together. And so when I landed with you, I was kind of this, just like, I had all of the pieces just kind of like floating out there. And your framework was really kind of like all of the steps that you take the women through and Activate Abundance is to start kind of at the beginning and like really piece it together step by step. Like, what is it that you're offering? What are those like really golden nuggets that like you are passionate about teaching and sharing and that you know to be true? It's like coming back to our truth. And so within that first year of working with you, it was just to be able to share. It's like what Helen was saying, it's the heart-centered message. Like, I was discombobulated with all of the pieces and not being able to share it in my heart-centered way. And so now I do it a little bit different in that I'm not online as much. I'm actually more of a collaborator in person. And I think Helen said it perfect too. I'm also experimenting, right? So it's like, as I'm building and my business builds very quickly with one-on-one clients, I'm also getting a chance to experiment with groups. So it's the both and. And I grew my business very quickly in collaborating with what I call champions of the work. Like, the work speaks for itself. The women come in, they get experience. They're like, whoa, what are you doing? I have to share this with everybody. And so I love collaborating. And then it just kind of has naturally evolved to where I'm helping what we call normal people, just like the everyday people who are in the medical field, has evolved to working with physicians who are stressed out and burnt out and in the stress pain loop. And they were like, whoa, yes, you're helping my patients, but I also need help. And so now my work is evolving more into going into medical facilities and settings and helping them develop the tools and the wellness and taking all of the somatic piece of that body mind into clinics. So it's been a tremendous evolution, but always, like Helen was saying, just that like experimentation. It's like, okay, like I'm going to try this. And I have my collaborations that I'm always falling back on. Like, that's my go-to, is tapping into my champions. So
yeah. And you were constantly selling out your one-on-one. Like, you're like, oh, I'm full.
Yeah,
oh,
it's
I'm full
full
again.
Exactly.
Full. And we're like, okay. It's been awesome to watch you expand. I remember having the conversation with you, Vicki. I was, I don't know why this is so clear to me, but I was like walking around in my backyard. We were actually on the phone. This was probably before we were doing lots of Zoom calls. And you're like, I just want to know if it's possible if I can weave my massage therapy and my coaching practice together. And you've done that beautifully, like so beautifully. And it's really exciting to see how that's evolved into a six-figure business for you.
I would say to anyone, it's like, it's possible. Like, if you are thinking it and you're dreaming it, it is possible. And the people that I had talked to, like the coaches and the women that I had talked to before, is like, no, why don't you just keep them separate? It's like, you don't understand. Like, I have this creativity and this like I'm seeing the bigger picture of this. And so it's been a really interesting journey for me, because somewhat I'm on this kind of cutting edge of exploring the body and the mind in just a different way that's available out there. And so it's taken a lot of creativity, and it's also like, I'm not just putting a wheel on repeat. Like, I'm just not repeating something. I'm actually like trying these things out. And so it comes with a totally different feeling, and like, it's new. And so allowing the spaciousness to allow it to kind of unfold and develop, but be patient in that process of all of the newness. So it's just been a miraculous. So your support has been phenomenal. Yeah.
Aw, I'm so glad. It's been so much fun. Like, I woke up this morning and I'm like, I've got like the best job ever. I get to like talk to amazing women. Like, how amazing is this? And I wanted to also just kind of speak into, another piece is that you've got both a brick and mortar, and, that is, with your coaching practice, I think sometimes people think that you can only do this by either you have to have a brick and mortar or you have to do online, and you've done so beautifully in being able to take again these two modalities that typically would look very, very like separate, and bringing them together in a way that is exciting and passionate for the way that you want to serve your people, and also the way that you, yes, absolutely, Helen. Sorry, there was chat that came through. I'm like, squirrel. But the way that you've been doing that, to see that, yeah, you can have a brick and mortar and you can weave in the coaching component of that as well. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cool. Helen, what would you like to share with Vicki?
Vicki, you know how much I love you. Oh my God.
Yeah.
But yeah, totally like that. It's this, and I wonder if you guys have this in common also. It's like you morphed a new thing out of like these other things. There's like something about this really special combination of like self or practices, my nutritional work with energy kinesiology coming together and calling everything the energetic way and not separating those two things. I had the same thing. It was like running group, one-on-one nutrition. And then I was like, and then I do this energy work sometimes one-on-one with people on the table. And I was like, no, how, like it has to come together. It's one thing. And there's something really magical when you share that. I'm like, yes, that's the key. Like it's your secret sauce.
Yeah. It is.
Right?
Totally.
I think we all have
good.
that, right? It's like saying, like, I think, this is like, it's like what makes us human is not just like our faith or our heart. It's like all of the pieces. And I think everybody out there knows that. Like, it's not new to anybody. Like intuitively, I think we all know this, but yeah, it's like as practitioners, we get like really kind of like laser focused on like food or weight loss or mindset, but it's like they're all happening simultaneously. Like that is the somatic experience. Like we're seeing it from behind our eyes, our mind's eye. So we're like experiencing the whole thing in all of these different places. So you can't not have them separated. So I love it. It's like an amazing time to be a practitioner right now too. So
oh yes,
right?
Totally, absolutely, for sure. Thank you, Vicki.
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Tracy L., you're next. Tell us what you do and how you support your people.
All right. So first of all, I am so excited to be here with you ladies. Like I can't think of a better place to be this afternoon. And especially with you, Chris, where we just actually got off a call about 30 minutes ago. And having the ability to have a mentor in my life, not just you, but also all these other women, but where I feel free to express my desire to just experiment with my business and do things differently, because I come up with some ideas that aren't normal all the time, but still just having the support from you, Chris, where you have this ability to just really support me in my business. And I work with women who have issues with their nervous system, and they're all high achieving women. And all of their goals are very different. Like when I look at all of us, we're all like anomalies, and just getting them to where they can really chill out enough to make a plan and get to where they want to be in their world. So as I look at where my business has gone from the time I've been working with you, Chris, and it's been over a year now, over a year, and how exciting it is to also coach with your clients in your business, and really just looking at the connections that we got to make when Dawn and I did the summit last fall. And like, I just want to bring the focus back to one word: community.
Yes, thank you. Absolutely. Holy cow. I want you to share that. Both you and Dawn get to share, around that. And yes, Tracy is also one of our success coaches. I'm like, oh my God, it's like, you're just a normal part of it. So I'm like, don't even think about it. And, the community aspect, I think, one of the things that I've seen happen with everybody here is that the connections that you develop feed so much more creativity than you can possibly do on your own. And it actually inspires you to move into ways that you wouldn't normally do on your own. So this, community aspect of, and I'll let you share about it. I don't want to like steal the thunder from this. So share what it is that you and Dawn, decided to do together and while you guys were in the program.
The biggest part of like our community is the collaborations we have within our group, but also with other coaches who you invite to come in to work with us. So as I got to know Dawn more in the program, and she came up with the idea of creating like a summit or something around the holidays so we could support people, because it's all hard, but especially during the holidays, it's really challenging for a lot of people. And just really being able to work with another professional coach to support. I mean, we ended up with, how many people do we have in our group, Dawn? The Comfort and Joy group that we got to work. We also got to work with 11 other coaches in there. And Vicki spoke with us, and you came and spoke with us too, Chris. So just being able to have these people like on speed dial and being able to reach out to you at the drop of a hat to ask a simple question, where we got to create this program in community for our larger community so that we could help everybody feel better during the holidays. I mean, everything comes back to how we feel, I think, which is one of the main reasons why I love being in your world, Chris, and just having the ability to be an experimenter. Helen, you talked a lot about that too, where at this point I've moved into a group model. And I have a level 1 and level 2 group going on, but also I'm experimenting now with more small, like kind of pop-up events that are super fun. So I just really loved the whole challenge of working with Dawn, and we've made plans to collaborate more in the future as well.
And tell us more also about, the tapping that you do. So, you really help people that, the high achievers that are struggling with stress as well. And the tapping that you do and the ways, you've got multiple modalities. You've got the yoga, you've got so you are another one. I think all of us as an entrepreneur, we've got so many ideas, right? We're like, I could do this and this and this and this. And you've blended it, again, another example of blending the different modalities that you do to support women in calming their nervous system so that they're able to have amazing lives.
Yeah, well, the important part of that is just really teaching them how to use it like in the moment, because granted, when they're on a call with me, they aren't always in that like fight or flight stage.
Yeah.
But making sure that they have the tool to pull out of their back pocket to use it then, and then supporting them around it when it doesn't work like just right, or they don't think it works as well as it should. But that's why we coach. I mean, there is no magic pill. It's this rinse and repeat process that we all go through. Same with the ways that you support me, Chris, and also Vicki, how you've supported me as a coach. I really love that too. So thank you so much. And we just get to grow as entrepreneurs, and I can't wait to see what we're going to create this year together.
Yeah. You said something that stood out to me. And I think it was, or maybe it was Vicki, one of you two said something about normal, like the way that we normal, like creating something that's outside of the norm. Right. And that's, such an important thing that, I don't want to let that drift away, because it's okay to create things that you don't normally see, or to do something in a way that somebody, that you don't normally see people do things, right? Like there is absolutely a way that you can create what it is that you want to create. And it might not necessarily look exactly the way somebody else's business looks like.
Yeah. Well, I just think that I'm just thinking about the things that we know that don't work and making sure that we stay away from those things.
Yeah.
And in the process of creating something that is a place where other women can come into the space with us and really thrive.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Dawn, welcome. I'm so glad to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's really great to be here,
Oh
Chris.
my goodness. Please
an
tell
honor.
us what it is that you do and how you support your people.
Well, first of all, everybody, I want you to know that Chris Williams is like a phenomenon as far as I'm concerned.
Oh my God.
What you've created in this community is beautiful and amazing. And we all glean from each other and grow together. And that's the best part. That's, to me, that's my favorite part of this program and working with you. It's all of you beautiful ladies, because community is important, especially for women, especially right now during this time. I'm a healthy life coach, and I really work with driven leaders to help them get out of overwhelm and go through my 5 pillars in my program, which are clarity, getting organized, beginning to create in your world, and then revealing, and then from there evolving. And, working with you, Chris, I really developed those 5 pillars, and I was really just doing the clarity pillar before it. 1 12-week program, 1 set model, stuck with it. And I'm not saying that's wrong, because it worked for me. So I felt like my business couldn't grow any further. And I didn't have any more room, like Vicky, for one-on-one clients because I was booked. So I wanted to grow my business. And so at the hardest time in my life, you came to me and you said, Dawn, are you ready? And I didn't think I was, but I jumped in anyway. And I feel like it broke me through that threshold that was hard to break through at the time, and get my life back, and then grow my business to a level that I would have never dreamt of a year ago today. So I'm thrilled. Yes, Tracy and I created the Comfort and Joy Summit that we had 11 speakers, including, most of us here. And it was on 11/11, and there was over 200 people in the group. It was, in my mind, in a short period of time, wildly successful.
Yes,
And
it was.
that's what happens when we get into alignment and we work with like-minded people who are all on the same page. And that's what this community is. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Dawn, that I just got chills, because that really, the success and being able to have that many people were because you all came together in community. If you would have had to do that on your own, I'm not sure if it would have been, number 1, as fun, number 2, as successful. I mean, could we do it? Yeah. It's just that we get in here and then we don't actually take the steps. And when we're in community and we're doing something together with other people, even if it's new, you guys did such a beautiful job in being able to kind of incorporate everybody and giving everybody a different piece to take to help promote to help promote it, and also to run it. And it was beautiful. It was so cool to watch. I was sitting back, kind of watching you all do it. And I'm like, this is fucking awesome. Excuse my French.
And sure, I mean, it wasn't perfect, but it was almost better that it wasn't perfect. We made mistakes. We learned a lot. I don't know that I would do anything differently. Would you, Tracy? It was so much fun. It is work. Don't get me wrong, but it's fun work. It's things that we enjoy. And so, Tracy and I were up till 2 a.m. a few nights, just because we didn't want to go to bed. We wanted to keep going because it was so much fun to work on. So,
well, I feel like the best part of it was the connection that I got to make with you and with the other women in the group as well, because of your idea, Dawn, where you said that we should have weekly calls to have people come together so that we all got to know each other. I think that was a big piece of this community, like building that, because otherwise, if we didn't take the time to do that, I wouldn't know like these other women. We just don't have time in our busy lives to do that. So I love that you suggested that, Dawn.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was a great collaboration and more to come because it's really fun to work with other women in group. And all of you are fabulous. You're all amazing. And I know you all from different, like I worked with Vicky, she was my success coach. And of course, Chris is like my mentor. And Helen, you and I have like, we're supposed to be friends. We keep ending up at the same places, don't we? So great.
Yes,
And
you guys need to connect for sure.
Crazy and I have just become besties by working together. But yeah, in the
Mhm.
meantime, and I thought I went dark during the holidays. I was thinking, oh, I went dark. No, I created a podcast and we've already had 4 episodes. I have started a small group, which I never did before, as a small, shorter group. I just always stuck with the same model, but I've expanded out and tried some different things. As per all of your great nurture events that you've done and all of your ideas to help us bring cash into our business, it works. It works. And those smaller ticket items, I think, is paid nurture events. We get to know new clients and then they stick with us.
Yeah.
So it's been fun. Yeah.
Oh, Dawn, that is so beautiful. I love that so much. One of the things that I wanted to just kind of what this reminds me of is, we get to do this work together. And I know that, you guys hear me say this, we're not meant to do this work on our own. We're really not. Like there's parts, of course, that we're going to do on our own. And, when we start taking a look at what makes a successful business, it's the pieces that we can do on our own, but it's also helping to work in community and collaborations to have other people and leverage other people's audiences so that we can get in front of our ideal client as well. And the beautiful thing about it is that it can actually be a really fun experience. You can work together and collaborate with each other and build each other's audiences and groups and businesses exponentially quicker and faster than if you're just doing it on your own. And when we're trying, when I first started building and growing my health coaching practice, that's kind of where I went, was collaborating with doctors and holistic health practitioners to serve their patients and serve their people. And the other piece that was so powerful was, yes, I was working and collaborating here, but being actually part of a community of people who are also building and growing their business was a huge game changer for me. And that's one of the kind of common themes that I'm kind of hearing you guys, pull back into here is, as women, we really do thrive in community, and we thrive on supporting each other. And we also thrive on, working with each other in what I love to call the generosity game, where everybody wins, where there's not a competition there's just not, there's no competition here. It's always felt very expansive and open and growing and abundant. And
I think one of the cool things about your program, Chris, too, is there are different people coming in at different places in their businesses. And so, like Helen kind of took off like with that group, her groups. For me, like in my one-on-one and experimenting and kind of moving into groups, having someone like Helen to also be in that group and seeing her kind of work through the obstacles and work through the struggles of like her, what's coming up for her. It was like she was like 3 steps ahead of me for like those group things. And so then it's like, oh, like Helen's doing it, I can totally see she's doing it. And there's like something motivating and inspiring about being able to be in that group with people who are kind of at all different levels, because it gives you that belief of seeing someone else do it, but also not feeling alone too, that you're not just all alone struggling, that you are going to work through the obstacles. And it gives you that accountability piece of showing up, because if you say yes, like I know for like the Comfort and Joy Summit, like there was that level of accountability. Like there are people that are like putting in the work and they're like putting out their emails and they're doing their invites. Like I better show up and do my invites, versus if I'm just on my own and I'm like not super stoked to be building my groups, like my motivation is like not nearly as high. So there's so many layers to the community, I think, that are valuable that we just don't necessarily see until we're on the other side of it.
Especially during a time like the holidays, it would be easy just to skate through and go dark, like I mentioned earlier. But that accountability factor that you mentioned is so important. And that's why collaborating, even just like, partnering with another coach to do maybe a short program or a long program. Or, for example, the retreat, like Helen mentioned, I'm planning a retreat with another coach. Tamara Langford and I are going to be doing the Soul Sisters Sedona Summer Solstice. Yes.
Yeah, woo! Oh, I love that. What a great title.
So in June. So all of you be prepared, get ready, because it's going to be epic. And I would love to see your faces there.
Oh, absolutely. Fantastic. That's so exciting. Oh, so fun. Yeah. And I mean, I love, collaborations, or it's just so much more fun. Like when I run my retreats, Vicki, you did a beautiful somatics experience with it. Samantha Schmuck, for those of you that know her from HCI, came, and well, she didn't come this past time because she had COVID, but she did do it online. But typically she comes in person, and it's so much more fun to have, that it's not necessarily someone who is underneath you supporting you. It's just somebody that you're linking arms with and having fun, right? And bringing your zone of genius and supporting in a different way. And it's just always so much more fun to do that. At least for me, it is. And Tracy, you too. You just collaborated Saturday.
Yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to Margaret Harrell, where we did the vision board workshop together, and that was a huge success. We had, I think there were 13 of us total, including Margaret and I that were there. And we also did our vision boards with everybody. And we're planning on doing that again. And once a month, having something around energy, but also empowerment for women. And just having some sort of like experiential event going on to bring it back to what I talked about earlier, community. Mm-hmm. So a lot of really exciting things coming up for me this year, for sure.
It is exciting. You guys are awesome. I would love for you guys to just share one thing that, you kind of, if somebody is like, I don't know, I really think that I can just do this on my own. Let me just piece together the courses or the handouts or what would you tell them about the mindset of still just trying to say, I'm just going to do this whole thing on my own?
I'd love to start, Chris.
Yeah, please.
It is lonely out there on your own. It is. And I'm sure some of you that are watching already realize that. And that accountability and the fun factor really motivates me to keep going. And not only that, but when you're in a community with other like-minded women specifically, it's not just that group that you're connected to. Like you said, it's their group, but then it's also their connections in this genre as well. I know I went to Chicago and I got to sit next to you, Chris, which was phenomenal. You're way over in the east side of the United States. I'm in the west. And I got to sit by you. I got to meet Helen, and that was really great. And then, there's just so many other women that I got to meet there too. So it has really enriched my life in so many ways. And through your program, Chris, I met Wendy Lee Baldwin Hargett, and she and I are doing the Lessons podcast together. So that's pretty exciting.
That is so exciting. Oh my gosh. Yes. And you're writing a book.
Yes. And I'm writing a book. Yes,
and so is Helen. Yay.
And so is Helen. Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dawn.
I can go next if you want. I would say if doing it on your own hasn't worked so far, then what makes you think that it will now?
Right.
And specific to my program, stats say that 97% of women hate their bodies. So you can be with the 97%, or you can be with the 3% that are, in the world that I'm talking about. And you want to surround yourself. You want to be in immersing yourself with the people that want the same thing that you want is the quickest way to success. Otherwise, you're fighting that 97% all of the time.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. That reminds me, and I think it's probably just because we're running, and I had this conversation with Casey, my husband, yesterday. When you're with people, they help you stay in the race. They help you stay in the game, right? And, yesterday when I was doing my training, and Casey's like, come on, let's just, like go a little further. Let's just, let's make it to the bridge. Let's like do the, let's walk, I'm like, come on, we've already walked 4 miles now. Let's head home. He's like, well, let's just, and I'm like, oh, all right. And, I asked him, I said, do you know when it is that people quit when they're running a marathon? And he's like, I don't know, 9 miles, 10 miles. I'm like, it's 21 miles. Like, the support when you're with other people allows you to continue to actually finish the race. And I think, I was thinking about you, Helen, because you have these communities. I know that the women that show up in community and run together are going to complete it and finish it. When you don't have that community, you just give yourself a way out. You give yourself a reason to kind of slip out the back door or to stop or not finish.
Yeah, it's true, which is why having a private Facebook group is also so valuable, and really showing up often, through email or checking in is so valuable. That's where coaching comes in. It's not, it's not just an app. It's like a human experience. And so people go in and, in the context of my work, will go into like, Fit Day or whatever I don't have any of those apps anymore. I'm talking about like ancient ones probably at this point, but all these counters, like there's not a human experience on the other side saying, like, giving you compassion, right? If you see that you didn't make your pie chart that day, right? It's like, well, I suck, I'm terrible, or I didn't meet my mileage today. I suck, I'm terrible. Or you can be a part of a group where you have a coach who went out on Monday for 1 mile and says, this is why I went out for 1 mile. This is why it worked for me. And then you see other people who are like, wow, I didn't think I was going to go out today, but I can do a mile. Cool. Well, that works for me. So it's, it's being in the pool, in the pond with people. It's
Love that.
so important.
Thank you.
I think to piggyback on what Helen is saying is closing that gap, if between where you are and where it is that you're wanting to be, being inside of this community closes that gap quicker. Yeah, you can do it on your own. It's just going to take a lot longer. Or like Helen says, like, has it worked up until now? And if it hasn't, and you want to close the gap because you're sick and tired of being where you're at, like, this is the community that you need to be in. 100%.
Thank you.
I think the energy piece is the biggest part. And the evidence for this comes from this gathering that we're in right now with all of us together, where I know that I feel differently at this point than I did when I first jumped on the call. And that's how it goes. Like, I can be having like kind of a shitty day and know that I get to jump on our call, our community call, and not know who's going to show up, but just know that I get to share my energy with other women. And so really, we are the revolution. So when you're ready to join us, then just let us know, because we would welcome you with open arms and embrace you, because that's what we do. I mean, I got chills when all of you are talking about the things that you're doing with women, where we are changing the world. And I think about, like, for me, in working with a coach, like when I first started, of course, I was looking at some of the big names in coaching, but the reality is we're the ones that are changing the world. The smaller, we're not little coaches, but we pay more. We don't have so much expansiveness to worry about. So we can pay attention to the smaller details and really help you grow in the way that you want to grow in a tailored way.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, Tracy, that's so true. And that's, one of the reasons why we do keep the groups the size that they are, so that everybody gets wraparound support. Everybody feels a part of something. It's not like you're one of 300 that you may or may not get your hand raised.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like the difference between going to a class at the university in one of the big like auditoriums where you walked in, and if you were late, it's like you could hear a pin drop, but the professor was up there just professing, but good luck getting your question answered.
Yeah.
But with us, it's different. We have these smaller models that are effective. So I would love to answer questions from anybody around Chris's program, or like how I'm changing. because starting the conversation around that is the first step. So don't be afraid to just reach out and just to get into that, because that's the biggest part, just the curiosity piece.
Yeah, thank you so much. You all, thank you so much for being here. I just really appreciate you sharing your hearts, sharing your vision. I love chatting with all of you guys. I love hearing what you're up to. I love seeing the ripples that are being created in the world. And I'm just really grateful, really, really grateful for all the work that you all do. So thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Chris.
For those of you that are interested in working in either Activate Abundance, just reach out to anybody here or reach out to me directly. We definitely have space for you inside of the Activate Abundance Academy. So, we can get you in right away. We also, if you're already at 6 figures, so Activate Abundance is really to help you create that first 6 figures. If you're already at 6 figures, you may want to take a look and ask us about the Amplifier Leadership Mastermind. Or if you just want some one-on-one support, that is something that I do support my clients with. As a matter of fact, Helen came in originally one-on-one and she's like, yeah, and I want community. And I'm like, all right, let's get you locked into community as well. So, there's multiple ways that you can be supported. And, one of the things that I am adamant about, and I think that, this really is a heart-centered way that all of you model and do this so well with your clients as well, is that we're only interested in helping people make an empowered decision about whether what it is that we have is going to serve them in some way, shape, or form. So, whenever my intention when somebody reaches out to me for support is only to help them make a decision about whether or not Activate is a good fit for them or whether something else is a good fit for them. And if not, I absolutely am happy to refer them to somebody else. And that allows us to really build and run a business that feels good and aligned for us, instead of feeling like we've got to convince or persuade somebody or say the right thing or overcome all the objections or, that type of sales call that never felt good to me. So please don't be afraid to reach out if you think that we're just trying to sell you or I'm just trying to sell you. I only take people into the program that are a hell yes for wanting the support. So yeah. Cool. Thank you, ladies. I love you so much. Mwah.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah. Bye.